All right, guys, what's the vibes? How you guys doing? Welcome to another review. And honestly, this review is, how would I put it? Unscripted. Yes, I think unscripted is the right word because I've not done anything, in terms of prepping for this call or anything. And one of the things I want to do is how I can make this a consistent action. It's gonna be YouTube like this, and I would really just speak my thoughts and ideas about price and what I want to see. It's been very, very good this past few weeks with me and my guys. And honestly, I've really just been focused on that. But there's something I love more than, seeing results, and it's actually helping other people see results. So I've been slacking on that end for a good cause, but I want to get back on that, right? And the way I do that is really, really just teaching and expressing what I feel about the market, saying one or two things that I know has helped traders. Over the years, I've helped traders actually see great results, change their mindset, and actually grow as individuals aside from trading, right? And I'm excited for that, and I want to do more, right? So well, that's not the main aim of this video. This video, we want to look at what really happened last week. It's going to be a very short one, but we will dive into the semantics. Right, let's start from the weekly time frame from the dollar. I would put off this, right? And we see from this weekly candle, what we see is we've seen a bearish week. Just from the weekly candle, we can see that it's a bearish week, right? And when you see something like this, it's like, oh, I should just go into the daily time frame and see everyday bearish, but that's not how it works, right? And we're gonna see that when we come into the daily time frame. How did the week play out? Monday, well, slightly bearish. Tuesday, bearish, right? And then Wednesday, bullish. Thursday, very bearish. Friday closes up, inside of the range. So it's a bearish candle, which means that most of the days on the week would pause sell side, right? But doesn't mean that it is. If you look at it properly, you would find that we opened the week somewhere around here, open, and we closed here. So that's the bearishness that we see. But if we look at it in totality, it's a ranging market, in which case we have price forms the low of the week somewhere around here, and then forms have the week here, then comes lower. It's just a bounce of all of that. But let's actually go deeper to look at one of the things that happened, right? If we look at this, we see Monday plays out, right? And this is why you want to be waiting for Monday to play out before you act, right? And I said this, right? We had a bearish order block on Monday, right? But we have also a bullish fair value gap here. So when I'm on the higher time frame, the things I like to think about is, where are the key levels, right? Where are we in price? So when we come on Monday, on Monday, or when we came on Monday this week, this is where prices are. Bearish order block, right? I know you say this bearish order block, but this is actually the bearish order block. I would say parent order block. This guy is inside this guy, formed inside of this guy. So up close candle, bear sell side, right? Expansion, and then price forms another up close candle right inside of this. So many times we like to look at this guy as the order block, but this is the main order block. So even if you're going to be doing anything with this guy, right, you want to have your stop loss accommodating this guy. This is so key, even for your lower time frame entries. Very, very key, what I just explained now. But look at this, right? Prices right there, bearish order block, right? This guy. Let me see if I have those lines drawn out. So let's do this. So bearish order block here, right? And that's where we got to on Monday, right? So we want to see a breakdown, right? So we're expecting buy side because the trend is bullish, right? Up, higher highs, higher lows here, right? We're expecting buy side. So we want to see price continue higher, right? But now we've got into high, and what is to expect next? We're expecting a higher low. That means from here to here, we want to see sell side. And this is very important, right? That when I am looking to get into the marketplace, and on the higher time frame, I'm expecting buy side, right? I can't just jump into buy when price is at its highest it's been recently, like here. So we said we want to see price return back into a little bit of discount before going lower. And my level was that fair value gap, the midpoint. When price is going to have continuations, we see fair value gap as the catalyst for that. So if you are looking for continuation movements, think fair value gaps. If you are thinking about reversals, think stop runs. So when price takes out old lows, yes, we can expect old highs, we can expect a reversal. We want to see continuation, we want to see fair value gaps, right, to be the catalyst. So as soon as price they dropped into that fair value gap midpoint, I was already thinking buy side. I started to buy and I started to sell the currencies. I was heavy selling gold, which was my big movers of this week. Enjoyed many of that. It was an experimental week for me, and we closed the week with, I think, 3-4%, 3 point something percent actually. Supposed to be more, but again, did some experiments that cost me some dollars. But overall was still good. Overall was still good. Let's look at this, right? So Tuesday, I want to jump into Tuesday. So Monday we have, as it normally used to be, consolidation. Then Tuesday we jumped into the fair value gap. That fair value gap, it's the midpoint of the fair value gap. Right. So let me see. Um here. Okay. Right, it's the midpoint of the fair value gap. We open on Tuesday, run lower, takes out Asia's low. What do you want to think about? We're thinking about Asia's high. I did a quick study about this last week, and I'll just continue that. Takes out Asia's low. I'm looking for Asia's high, not just Asia's high, but Monday's high. Why? Because we also took out Monday's low, right? So we take out Asia's high, we take out Asia's low, and we take out Monday's low. When price does this, I have a very high probability that it's going to go higher. When price takes out not just one level of liquidity, but two, in this case, Asia's low and daily low, I would start to think about Asia's high and daily high as target objectives. Right. So Tuesday we see price rally all the way there. Right. Tuesday rallies all the way down here, and that would make a pair like gold go lower. So if we go to Tuesday gold, we took out Asia's high on Tuesday, right? And Monday's high on Tuesday, right? So the moment I think a high is forming, I wait for the next best thing, breaking market structure, which happens here, right? We see price close below an old low. I would be looking for runs back into that OB, right? Runs back into that OB. There are different ways to play this, but runs back into that OB will be the play for me, right? As this is where the breaking market structure happens. That would be like something I'll be looking to get to, but price, doesn't get there. And when it finally gets there on the next day, doesn't respect it, goes a little bit higher. So I think we took a loss inside of here. I'm not really showing my trades. I really just want to look at exactly how the week plays out. I like to do this every weekend. You just follow the trajectory of the week and see what profile was really playing out and how I could have, played better, or the things that I could learn, just looking at it, right? So breaking market structure, that would have been a good entry. And then Wednesday comes in and does something that we always need to expect. One of the concepts that I learned earlier from ICT, grace to him, right, is institutional manipulation. Price is going to form a high, right? And that high is going to be a false high, right? Because at a later time, price is going to take out that high and go in the direction. It's a false high because when it happens, it already shows that, oh yeah, we can be going lower here. Like breaking market structure, it's good to go lower here, right? And many times you get into this trap where you sell this and it doesn't work out. And that's exactly what you need to know, that you're going to have everything right and sometimes it doesn't work out because you don't explain how much of movements that price can give. You can't explain how much of a manipulation can happen in price. So this will happen, right? So price takes out again, the same thing that happens on Tuesday happens on Wednesday. Takes out Asia's high, takes out Tuesday's high. So we have Monday's high, draw. Monday's low is still intact. Tuesday's low is still intact. Asia's low. So this is how you find your draws on liquidity. You look for Tuesday's low, right? Because now, not just Tuesday's low, it's Asia's high. So we are looking for Asia's low here, one draw, right? Yeah, the equal lows there. So they are coming here for sure, right? Then we have Tuesday's low. Tuesday's low is here, right? We have Asia's low, which is already marked there. And let's bring this guy down here to Monday's low. So these are all of the draws that you want to be expecting from Wednesday, right? Which is exactly what we did. We started to trade, Wednesday um selling GU. I think I was selling GU from I'm trying to see. Oh, okay, it was Thursday I sold. Right, but from Wednesday we started to see that breakdown inside of here. Right, as price takes out that high, not much of an entry inside of here. You could say that bearish order block, but I would say things start to look good when we break here. But obviously, still don't find an entry until Asia session. Asia session we return back into this OB. Why? Up close candle fails to take out that old high breaking market structure. This guy is a mitigation block. This guy here, right? If you are going to be selling this, you want to have your stops where? You want to have your stops above that high, right? So it comes in clutch in Asia session, right? Price picks out that high, and I was working with this through this with my guys in the Discord, right? I'm always awake Asia session. I find it to be an interesting session. I'm able to have clean plays around those time, and yeah, it's a good one. So now price returns back inside of that level and we see follow through on Thursday. So now you might ask, why is price not taking out Asia's high? We are already in the trajectory to aim for what? Those levels of liquidity that we talked about. As you can see, we've seen Asia's low of Wednesday taking out on Wednesday also. We've seen daily low of Tuesday taking out. So we have Asia's low of Tuesday and we have daily low of Monday, right? So through Thursday, we saw this, and this was the big kicker. Trump speaks on Thursday night, and boom, everything changes. Right now, one of the things to understand here is this is pure explanation on the markets are uncertain and highly probabilistic, right? So you have an idea, right? And that idea is that price finishes up here from up here. Now, if price comes here, let's say that will be 100%, right? Because this is where your idea ends. Here is 70-80% of the idea. If you really, really clock in with probability, then if you have anything from here to here, then you should book. Right. This is what this teaches me. You should book. Partials are very important. And I remember that I was selling somewhere inside of here on Thursday. And as soon as price got to this low, I booked 90% of my partials out. Every time you get into the week and you are looking at the opposing end, look for Asia's low. Very, very clean. Because the truth is, this is how price plays out. Consolidation, manipulation, distribution if we are bearish, right? So consolidation manipulation always works, but it works in two scenarios: consolidation manipulation, distribution if we're bearish. Consolidation manipulation, distribution, but doesn't take out the original consolidation if price is reversing. So it's only coming down to the discount part of the range to change direction. So going into Friday, you know that, oh, okay, we formed the low of the week and this is already looking like we are changing direction. So we're not looking at outlooks. We're only just watching for, you know, what happened in the week. So we saw breaking market structure from Thursday. Go and check. Trump was speaking here and we have these violence moves when he speaks. That's the era that we're in. This is the last up close candle. Let me show you on the 1 hour so that you see it properly. The last up close candle before the run that closes below an old low. This is quite clean because after price took out this low, there was a bullish order block. If you did your study properly, you would find that this is a key level. Discount level of the range by taking out old lows. This is very clean. Very, very clean for buy side. Right. And then boom. But I understand. I also was not expecting this because again, when you are locked in on one direction, especially when you have levels that you want to see price get to, you kind of like forget things like this until after. And again, it's part of the game, right? But if you pay attention and you play with the mind of, oh, I have variables, I have levels that I'm thinking about, right? Even though you don't want this to hold, when price gets here, you take partials, which is what I did going into that week. So GU is one of the trades I trade, and that's why I'm doing a review on that. Right, and we can see price return back into that breaker. I was just watching this on Friday to kind of see a bounce. On Friday, I was just taking little stabs on gold, about three of them. Two of them were profitable, one of them went sideways. Right, but again, we see that the dollar, if we go back, Tuesday low of the week. And there was something interesting that happened this week. Let me see if I can talk about that. Right. I took a loss on Wednesday. Was it Wednesday? Yeah, I think it was, yes, Wednesday, CPI. So I took a loss on CPI. This was CPI's candle. CPI came down here, took out this lows, and I was buying. As it took out these equal lows, returned back down here, I was buying, and I put my stops right there. And price came all the way back down, took me out. I didn't like that I was taking out. Nobody likes that, but I think I understood it because at that point I was then in the, oh, we could probably be bearish. But I told my guys, if we don't take out Tuesday's low, this is still bullish in my liking because Tuesday's low, remember, is where we have the midpoint of that fair value gap on the daily time frame. Remember, the fair value gap is the catalyst for continuation. So if we've tagged that level and we're seeing breaking market structure, then we're still bullish, right? But two things I did not do, right? As soon as price right, took out Tuesday's low, there wasn't a proper break in market structure. We had a close above this high, but not proper. Right. Now, if this was the breaking market structure, because this was what I thought, this was what I was looking at. Right. For breaking market structures, for me to just give you that tip, I want to see two highs being closed through. So if we had even this high, right, being closed by this high, that would be a proper break, right? But I would have loved that it was this one that we closed through like we did here. This is a proper break, right? And that's why this OB makes sense, right? So that's the first thing I did not do. The second thing I did not do was I was buying a discount level, but I did not put in context that this is the range that actually holds the buy side. So this happens when you're trying to minimize your stop loss, right? So what I should have done was my stop loss actually comes low here. I just wanted to think about it in GUEU form, right? Just flip it. That's what happens here. Right. So I didn't put that in context, so I got stabbed out and then price rallied in the direction I wanted to see, right? But now the breaking market structure happened, so obviously I wasn't going to miss this, which was why I was able to sell Thursday and I was able to make good money. So breaking market structure here, and then price returns back into discounts, this OB, and then rallies to take out this hold high. So that level inside of here, the midpoint of the fair value gap, the C, the consequent encroachment, led price back to an old high, which is good, right? Tuesday forms the low of the week. Thursday starts the reversal. It's an ICT concept that as mechanical or repeatable as it seems, it works. Now on Thursday you want to expect a reversal if Tuesday going into Thursday has been posing one direction. It looks really, really, cliche, but it works. And that's the same thing we see here. Disruption from the news release, and then we're back down here. And I told my guys, they asked me, May, are you still bullish on DXY? I said, I don't know. I need more candles to form. That was the question on Friday. So I don't have a bias until I see more happen, right? The fact that we've taken out Tuesday's low, as I've told them, leads me to start to think about this low. But I want to see, follow through to the downside because it wasn't that we took out this low and we started to push down lower. We're seeing consolidation up here. So again, more candles for me on Monday. I'll be waiting Monday out to kind of see how Tuesday plays. Everything still sticks in the favor of the dollar in terms of fundamental analysis. CPI inflation is still high. We have job numbers that came out last week for NFP, also very, very good. So all of those things are indication for bullish dollar. And that's why I wanted to see, continuous price side. So this could just be the news release from Trump, and then we just continue a manipulation. So I don't mind that. If you look at where the bodies of the candles close, still very, very much around that midpoint level. So again, if I'm to go to my head, what am I choosing? I still want to see this go higher, and that would mean sell side for GU, sell side for EU. Right. So if you look at GU also, just took out buy side liquidity, comes into the breakout much more properly. We're already there before, right? But does it again. So if we start to see breakthrough this low, I would return back to looking for sell side back down here, right? So this is how I'm looking at it. This is how I'm watching it. So you look at EU also comes all the way down here. So many of my guys, so many of individuals or traders were looking for a run down to this low, but then this happened, right? Price happens. So if you're not able to take partials, selling up here and taking out partials anywhere down here, you just be messy. Now let's look at the last guy on the table so that we don't make this long. Right. All right. For gold, gold is just beautiful. Gold is just beautiful. It's a pair I really, really like trading a lot. And because it fits my style of trading, I'm not so much of a long-term swing trader, patient, all of that. I'm not that. And I've understood that earlier, and that has made me, really, really stick to a style that really works for me, which is short-term scalps and day trading. Right. Now, even with that, obviously, it has its cons. You just have to pick your poison, with whichever way you are deciding or style you are deciding to trade. All right. So we finally got our targets for the week, right? Which is this low. On Monday, we came up and I talked about how we could see, a little bit of run here, right? And price could also still go lower. So I said, watch, right? Price popped that fair value gap. We are breaking market structure. This is what I like to show you when I show you this. Look at that run into that fair value gap was only just to complete where the wick of that candle is to the wick of that candle. This is what is called IOFED, Institutional Order Flow Entry Drill. It's a partial entry to a fair value gap. That's what happens here. Monday or Tuesday, we open, takes out Monday's high into that level, key level beautifully. So I was selling that. I was selling also on Wednesday. And good sales good sales, and all of that just continued Wednesday. And on Thursday, this was where I think I had my first loss. Yes, on Thursday was when I had my first loss on this asset class. Because as soon as price was going lower here, we had this breaking market structure. So I sold that OB, right? I sold it first here, right? And it took me out. Again, very compromised stop loss. My stop loss should be above this high. Right, but as it ran above that high, I'm like, oh yeah, I know what to do now. I saw this, I was able to cover that loss and a little bit of partials, and then price started to run higher. I sold here and I got to taking out. Now, the moment this happened, I'm like, okay, sign up for the day. And then this guy happens. I'm like, wow. Because when price rallied up here, I was looking at, oh, sell this guy. This is, we've taken out all of this buy side liquidity. We are inside of this up close candle. But I was very iffy about up this high here. We did not take out Asia's low. We have Asia's high intact. That's not a good day to trade, right? Even all of this, right, shouldn't be traded because if you're going to see price move in a direction, we want to see some form of liquidity being taken. And that is London's low, London's high, Asia's low, daily high. In this case, we took out London's low. See, London's low was taken out here. Even New York, right? But we're still in New York. So London's low was taken out here. Breaking market structure, OB. Boom. The expands here. Right. This is the kind of move that you want to be in. Right. So coming in on Tuesday, right, I took a couple stabs, like I said, right. I lost this one and I made two of this, in terms of sell side. And they were short-term stabs. I was sharing that with my family, right? I'm building my way up into one standard lot on gold. It's a very, very interesting space to be. You take a loss and you're down $700-800, but you take a win and you're up $2,000-3,000, which is actually, good. And I'm playing on that line. I am to just give you a plan of what I'm doing right now because I want you guys to actually follow me up on it. I want to share as much as I can. I'm always drifting when it comes to sharing, but I want to really, really do. All right. And my guys already know this. I'm aiming for $225,000 for the month of June. I have $100,000 in. I'm talking prop firms now. And I have $4,000 to go on one of the accounts, which is the 100K account to get it passed. I've been dancing around that. And my 25K, right, is actually in drawdown right now. That 25K is actually in drawdown, but we'll see what we do next week. I was up 5% last week, and right now I'm in drawdown. Took some crazy stupid trades this past week, right? And I just focused on the 100K account with the trades that I just talked about here, and I left that one, right? It's just sometimes, right? All you need to do is, and that's why I like to have multiple accounts at once. Sometimes all you need to do is, this guy is not working out now. Okay, I'll just leave you. I'll come back to you later and face another guy. Trading both of them at the same time is not one of the things I like to do. Right now, if I have a good trade, I will play it on both of them. But if one of them is suffering, I leave it. I focus on the one where I'm not pressured to want to bring it back up. Right. The moment you get into the pressure state of wanting to get an account back in, then there's a problem. So I'm not pressured to get the account back up. I just want to, make money on this account because it's doing well. Right. So I was able to put 3% on the other account, even though I lost 4% on that account on the 25K. So my plan is we get the accounts up. I'm a little bit aggressive on the account when it comes to evaluation stages. We can talk about that. If you guys want it, just let me know. I'll do a video on how I actually, get into evaluation stages. I believe that wasting time on an evaluation stage is just a waste of time because of all of the things that happen in the prop firm industry. So yeah, these are my thoughts and ideas, right? This is a review session for me. I'll do a deeper review that then gets into an outlook later tomorrow, right? And that's what I get the ideas for the outlook. That's where all of that comes in. But I've shared most of it to you. I think this run inside of here is crazy, but it might really just be another manipulation for continuation of sales. Like I said, right, I still think the dollar is bullish. The numbers are strong for the dollar, right? The fundamental numbers, and that's allows gold to crumble. Now, if that changes, we're going to see more higher highs and higher lows, and we're just going to align, right? So again, great week for my guys. One of my guys got funded $50,000 this week. Big milestone. When he came to me in February, it was crazy. It was suicidal to tell you the truth. At this point, he's lost over 20 million in the forex market, and now he's funded $50,000. And this is what I say, right? 3 months with the inner circle, and you actually get what it is. I didn't want to talk about the inner circle, but there's just no way I don't talk about it. It's just that good. Like honestly, it's just that good. We have four indicators in the inner circle for a team that is not more than 15. Think about it. Right. And it's because resource has to be given for anyone to actually get funded or profitable in this game. And people lack that. They think, oh, one person can do it. No, there are different aims. Like you need life, you need mindset, you need different angles of technical analysis, different angles of how individuals approach price, because we will all be drawn to different ways of trading. My way of trading might not fit you, and this is why we have multiple educators, right? You learn a bit of me from here, you learn a bit of this from that, and you learn a bit of this from that, and you're able to grow as a trader. Right now, the inner circle is closed until next month, but I'm just still talking about it. All right, guys. I think we had a good one today, and I would see you in the next one. Bless up. Comment on whatever topics you might need me to talk about, whatever you might like to see from me, whether you like videos like this or you want me to talk more psychology. Just let me know about that in the comments, and then I'll see you. If you watched up to this point, put a thumbs up here. It makes me know that you're dedicated. It makes me know that you're the type of person that I want to love and keep loving. I love everybody, don't mind me. But if you got it up here, I really appreciate you. And again, I'm Kame. I will see you in the next one. Bless.